Alrighty. Greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How are you all doing? Good to see you. And welcome. All right. Everybody's here in the chat. So lots of people. Extra Bullet, what's up? Victory Jen, what's up? Osama, what's up? We got G. Demarest. All right. And much more. And much more. Some folks on Rockfin. How are you? What is that? What is that link? Where's that going? My day. Yeah. I don't know if it's a bad thing or not, but there's so many things to encounter, look at, ponder, read. And the funny thing is, I was just slowly but surely exposure of communities and infrastructure to subsidence on the U.S. East Coast. Somebody was just, somebody in the, climate change is a hoax crowd was like, well, New York is sinking according to the climate people, but it sinking, the ground is sinking, the water is rising, either or both, something like that. So on the U.S. East Coast, the high density of population and assets, density of population and at weight amplifies the region's exposure to coastal hazards. No, it's not just weight. All the things are there. We utilize measurements of vertical land motion rates obtained from analysis of radar data sets, but it is weight. It's heavy, right? We make trillions of tons of material and put it out into the world, and we build buildings and roads and bridges and blah, blah, blah. We dig up things and out of the ground and pile them over here, and it's heavy. It's heavy. Anyways, good link. Thanks. Anyways, the land is sinking, the water is rising, and nary the two shall meet. I don't know. Something like that. What's up, people? Osama said class will not come to order until we get another song. I don't know if I have one today, but maybe I'll do one again this week. All right. I don't know the day or the time. I guess I'll surprise you. All right. So we have we're live on YouTube, Rockfin, Callin, X. Many of the places. What's up, X people that are watching? I know you're all there. There are people over on X watching. I'm sure of it. Y'all are here or there. You're everywhere. Okay, got a couple of people. Well, thank you all for the feedback on the song. It was pretty good. Got a couple of people to thank for contributions either over the weekend or last night. I forgot to thank Gwen Webb over the weekend. Gave me a super thanks on YouTube, €5. And she said, as we watch the warming unfold and accelerate, I really appreciate your continued coverage and commentary. I'm glad you are back on YouTube. I understand the restrictions on speech make it difficult to post, but it is just more accessible for me, at least. Very warm winter in Cyprus so far. Thank you, Gwen Webb. Michelle gave me a very generous PayPal contribution, says song, exclamation point. Are you Salt Lakers? I think maybe you might be Salt Lakers. I don't know. But anyways, thank you. Thank you for the generous donation. Osama gave me 3 coffees. Looking forward to more great music to come. Thanks for all you do. Scott Andrews just gave me 3 coffees a couple minutes ago. Enjoy the coffee. Thank you. I'm going to do that right now. And Lou, I got your email, and I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get everything together to respond to everybody's messages. But thank you for the email, Lou. I did get it, and Lou said check your PO box, so I'm going to go check my PO box. I promise to do that. Carrie Nanstead tipped me $10 on Rockfin and said, "Cool song." All right, thank you guys. Appreciate y'all. Gigabane says I'm on YouTube and Rockfin with Finn muted until the changeover. Yeah. Well, eventually there might be a changeover. Basil, yeah, you're here early. Welcome. Good to see you, Basil. Basil, longtime OG listener or watcher. Bill E. Rees on Rockfin says isostatic rebound. According to Jason Box on Netflix, Greenland is lost, breaking boundaries on Netflix. Lang Lee says, I believe in the Constitution, but not the 14th Amendment. Okay. Okay. What do you got against the 14th Amendment? What you got against the 14th Amendment? Lots of people have problems with the 14th Amendment, I guess. All right, got a tip on YouTube from Basil. Thank you, Basil. Sorry I missed my monthly contribution. No, you're good. Thank you. Group slurp? Oh my God, that sounds. Keeps 14th Amendment keeps insurrectionists off the ballot. Well, I mean, first you got to prove. I feel like it's happening a little backwards, right? First you got to prove that there was an insurrection or that somebody's guilty of insurrection, right? Like, let's say you support it. Don't you have to prove the point first before just deciding, like, you're guilty, you're kicked off, right? I mean, you don't decide that somebody's guilty and then punish them without a trial. That's unconstitutional. So, well, whether you support the 14th Amendment or not, I feel like you got to go through the due process. You got to go through the process, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. I mean, the 14th Amendment is supposed to protect civil rights. Right? At its core, the 14th Amendment, right, Basil Peterson, wasn't the U.S. founded by an insurrection? Exactly. Well, and there's also something about overthrowing a tyrannical government. The encouragement in the Constitution of overthrowing, right? If your government, if the people decide the government has become tyrannical, it's your right, nay, I say duty, to overthrow a tyrannical government. I don't know. But I mean, sure. Langley says, actually, the 14th Amendment doesn't require a trial convention. Okay. So you can just decide. Drew Tech says it should, though if it doesn't, clearly there's a big hole in the 14th Amendment if someone could just be found guilty based on nothing. And yeah, if they were going to do an insurrection, they left their guns at home. Right. They showed up with some signs and hats and really, scary looking t-shirts or something. That's proof of insurrection. Also, totally an insurrection if you wave at the police as they open the barriers for you, as they take you on a tour through the Capitol and you walk through the red barriers and you're waving at them. Completely an insurrection. Obsolete Optics says the 13th Amendment never abolished slavery but nationalized it as a punishment for a crime. I don't know if I have time to read the 14th Amendment, going back to the 14th Amendment now. But you're saying they don't need the due process? Okay. That seems a little contradictory, considering it's supposed to be, the amendment is supposed to strengthen civil rights. And somewhere I just skimmed a little bit of it saying it's supposed to protect civil rights, due process, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't have time to get my lawyerly monocle out and read the fine print and see if there's a loophole for kicking insurrectionists off the ballot. But I mean, Civil War traitors. 14th Amendment was to keep Civil War traitors off the ballot. Okay. All right. No, it definitely was not an insurrection, for sure. I mean, at the most, you could call it a riot. I mean, what happened, in the year of George Floyd, there was lots of rioting and burning down buildings and, plenty of violence and people getting shot and beat up and all kinds of stuff. That was called a riot. And I think maybe, we can argue about intent, but, if you're really intending to take over, to take over the government or take people hostage, or I don't know what whatever the intent was that they were talking about. I mean, it seems like a pretty poor attempt if that was the intent. It seems wildly disorganized or not organized at all, but whatever. Obsolete Optics, good point. An insurrection is when people fight to remove a tyrant from power, not to keep one in power. Anyways. Also, with so many undercover government entities in the crowd. I mean, they surely did a great job of stopping whatever was going right. There's been an admission from, was it the chief of the Capitol Police, or was it FBI? Was it Christopher Wray? The admission, non-admission. There were several agents in the crowd, several as in a whole bunch, but surely they were there to keep things calm and make sure to get the people to not do the thing that they were doing, right? They were just standing around going like, what's going on? Hey, you guys are doing an insurrection. Whoa. Anyways, whatever. And I can assure you from other people who have, from the reports from other people who have had protests, or organized marches or protests or any kind of stuff, and especially in the Capitol, that the surveillance police presence and the controlling of the crowd control and making sure that you don't do anything. We're looking at you. Make a move, right? Like the overwhelming police presence for most protests is just out of control, right? Hundreds and hundreds of police present for a couple of hundred protesters just to make sure that nothing goes right. So at this particular protest, they were just like, have at it, boys. They were like, we don't know. We can't control anything. We don't know what to do. We are overmanned. Okay. Yeah, it was a riot. I mean, it was a riot that, pretty much, that was, hey, you guys, right? Ray Epps. Anyways. What else is going on? Did anybody see Jimmy Dore interviewed that guy? I don't know his first name, but his last name is Epstein. But he was, he interviewed him last year, and man, it was a really fascinating interview. Anyways, I urge you all to go watch the episode or the clip with Epstein and the Google. Google is tilting the elections, right? It's just really fascinating information, and he's. Yeah, Gene, I never saw any guns that usually people bring to overthrow their government. Kind of have to have some kind of, I don't know, whatever. Stretch. It's a stretch. But if you want to say like, it was out of control, you were rioting, causing mayhem, I mean, that's it. It's, that surely could be used, but the insurrection thing, I don't know. Oh, anyways, I was talking about the Jimmy Dore thing. Anyways, go watch this video. There's another thing. I don't know. Remember a few months ago I was talking about how, and I think everybody can probably understand this, that all this money that is thrown at projects, when people, military project, whatever it is, military projects, aid projects, construction projects, anything. All of it is turned into a grift. We just live in this world of grift. Where things are just out of control. The cost of everything is just out of control, and not for the reason that it actually costs anything, but just for the reason that, whoever's making the product or selling the product is just like, guess what? I think we need, a lot more profit on this product that we're selling to you. And so we're just going to jack the prices up. And no, it's not that the thing costs more, nothing, maybe a little more, but. Exactly, Tim Bob. Exactly. All this money, why shouldn't they fund Black Bear News? Exactly. My thoughts. But yeah, everything is grift. So Jimmy Dore was interviewing this someone who was talking about doing a vaccine trial, and this indicated to me that I feel like my hunch is correct, but I'm a sellout. Yeah, just give me some coffee and give me a couple pounds of coffee and I'll roll right over. Exactly. This gentleman was talking about doing a vaccine trial, and he said he could do a proper vaccine trial for $5,000. Right? That's all it would take to actually have a lab, or a couple labs run like a credible vaccine trial. And so when you hear, the billions of dollars being thrown at, or millions of dollars even being thrown at like a trial, it doesn't cost that much. They're paying people that run the trials, just regular pay. Yeah, he was saying $5,000 for a vaccine trial. But how much was it that they were getting or paying for vaccine trials? Not just for COVID, but for any trial. But I was kind of like, oh, right there, that right there was an admission of how actually how cheap it is actually to do something like that, and not so where is all the millions of dollars going, or the billions of dollars going? Whenever they were like $1 billion for this, $1 billion for this, jet fighter program, $1 billion for your Ukraine aid, or $1 billion for, it's like the actual thing that you're giving the money for. It could be $1 million or maybe a couple million, but where's the rest of the billions going? One can only wonder. How many pockets are lined? How many offshore bank accounts are being pumped up? Everything is a big ass grift, and I think a lot of people understand this, and they just are, they position. That's why you position yourself as a politician or somebody involved in. Oh, there was this story about the brothers that had that were actually vaccine manufacturers, but they were just like really grifting the government for grants, and they weren't really even making any vaccines. So that happened, but they figured out how to get in on the grift. They were like, we can get these grants, $1 million grants, millions and millions of dollars, right? $100 million, $200 million grants to start production on vaccines. And they were getting all these grants and not really producing anything. Anyways. All right, let's get into it. I'm just rambling right now. Let's get into a few things. Steve Austin, goodbye 1.5C. We hardly knew you. Paris Agreement was something fun. So, I'm sorry. I'm actually missing the really important part of this, which is the headline. Let's put this here so we can look at the headline. G. Demarest, we in Canada had a charity called We that got tied to Justin Trudeau. Big problem for him. Well, yeah, and remember, famously the Haitian aid that the Clintons were in charge of when Haiti had a large earthquake, right? And they said like nothing ever got built. Houses didn't get built. There was some aid to the people, but very minimal. But it was like billions of dollars. Billions and billions of dollars were raised for this aid, and that was overseen by the Clinton Foundation. And people were like, "Where did the money?" There was actually very little aid. So where did the billions of dollars go? My God. Global heating will pass 1.5C threshold this year, top NASA scientist says exec. James Hansen says limit will be passed for all practical purposes by May, though other experts predict that it will happen in the 2030s. Good on James Hansen for being, for being out there and being, bold. Yeah, I mean, James Hansen is out there calling it like it is and calling it as he sees it, but other people are like, oh, I don't know, the 2030s seems like about the time. Really, the 2030s is when we're going to pass 1.5C. All right, Tim Bob, you don't think Hansen is bold? I don't know. I think he's saying things that not a lot of other Oh, he called Guy crazy. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he called Guy crazy. It does make him look like a jackass. But, I mean, he's bolder than most. So, I didn't know he called him crazy. But, I mean, who hasn't called Guy crazy? Now, come on. But I'm just saying, of all the super conservative climatologists, climate change scientists, uh, commentators, spokespeople, pontificators, what have you, of all the people that are, kind of out there in the mainstream, Hansen seems to be the one that's going, more extreme than most. Anyways. Anyways, global heating will pass 1.5 C threshold this year. Everybody's like, nah, man, come on. And then Beckwith shows this. Haha, I call total and utter BS. Scientists have repeatedly said the Earth would need to average, listen to this, 1.5 degrees of warming over 2 or 3 decades to be a technical breach of the threshold. He says nobody has said this ever until now at 1.48 C for 2023, which is, I guess, what they're calling it at the moment for 2023. So they've repeatedly said the Earth would need to average 1.5 C. Okay. For decades, before we know for sure, right? Well, let me know what 2035 looks like. Another story that's out there. A new study finds a liter of bottled water contains 240,000 detectable plastic fragments, 10 to 100 times greater than previous estimates. Nanoplastics are so tiny they can pass directly to the bloodstream and then to organs, including the heart and brain. Yeah. So, based on this knowledge, you should never, ever buy any plastic bottled water or anything bottled in plastic if you possibly can. It doesn't matter if the plastic is, BPA free or whatever it's called. It doesn't matter if it's, the water is the purest. It's been bottled in plastic, so that is over. So if you can, but I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to get the clean water these days, right? Because the water you get in the tap is super contaminated, full of the chemicals and whatnot. At the very least, you're drinking, a load of chlorine. Exactly. Tim Bob Barbie movie was a documentary. Exactly. Yeah. So I've been railing against the bottled water thing for a long time. But it's hard for people, right? Some people, I go get water from the water store, and again, you're just relying on. The funny thing is, I go to the water store, and they're running they're filtering the water. They have all the machines there where they're filtering the water. And guess what the machines are made out of? You guessed it, plastic. I have no idea. I mean, the machines, the casings, I don't know. Maybe the insides are all metal, but I kind of doubt it. So, but anyways, I go to the water store and I have glass jars, big glass, but they're very heavy and they're very cumbersome. And I can do it because I'm, kind of a bigger guy. Unless you have a certain amount of strength, you're not going to be able to carry those glass water bottles around, right? So a lot of people have to just do plastic water bottles because it's easier to carry, more convenient. Water is heavy, right? Even if you're just going out and getting water in plastic bottles. Guess what? Nanoplastics, nanoparticles, right? Plastic particles. all up in that. So we're, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Good conversations going on Rockfin right now. How tall am I? I'm about 6'1.5" or something like that. I don't know. I'm 6'2" when I feel good. 6'1" on a bad day. I don't know. Something right around there. I'm about 6'2", 200 pounds. Average. My girlfriend can carry one of those bottles too. She's strong though. She's got strength for a lady. No, she's very strong. But like, a lot of women would not be able to carry those bottles around because they're just really a pain in the ass. Victory Gin. You're funny. 6'2" in the morning and you shrink through the day. Something like that. Something like that. I don't know. I stand taller when I feel good. And then when I'm kind of low energy, feeling not so good, I feel like I'm just short. Anyways. Max Wilbert, Biomass Greenwashing 101. Clear-cut native pinyon juniper forest in Nevada. Grind them into pellets and dry them with natural gas. Sounds good. Ship them 5,000 miles to Denmark. Burn them in a power plant. Call it green energy. Why would you even cut down, these why would you cut these down in Nevada? I mean, there are places that are much greener and more, plentiful, I guess, with trees than Nevada. Why would you cut down the pinyon juniper forest? It seems kind of like there's not a lot there, but anyways, it is what they're doing, and I guess they are doing this in Nevada, which seems like wild to me, ridiculous to me. No, nobody lives in Nevada. That's why they're doing it. But this is a well-known thing that's happening. And in fact, they cut trees all day. They get most of the trees from the southeast of the United States, where there are many trees, right? If you go through, Georgia, North Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, blah, 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 right? Carolinas, lots of trees there. So they cut down. There are a lot of trees that are cut down in that area, and they are ground up into pellets and shipped to Europe and burned and called net zero. Sounds good to me. This is a good video from Ian Carroll, who is the Cancel This Clothing guy, the guy that I played a few videos from him the other day. Yeah, I mean, I think if somebody wanted to do some comedy based on the one-liners in the chat, I think that would be a good idea. You should just screenshot the chat, go to your local comedy club, and riff on these. Anyways, might be the best 60-second take on the Epstein documents on the whole internet right now. So let's watch it. Short and to the point. Yeah, take that, Tim Bob. Let's see. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Hey, you guys are working for free here. Didn't you know? Didn't you know? We're sucking your energy just like the Zionists. I don't know. Just like the Rothschilds. I don't know. All right, let's listen to this.
We don't have a peep.
Here.
So, in all seriousness, where is the Me Too movement? I mean, these documents being released are in regards to children being taken advantage of and innocence being sold like a commodity. And we don't have a peep. Not a protest, nothing. Silence. Where are the celebrities? They speak out on everything else.
The celebrities are all blackmailed into not saying anything. You can't say anything because I don't know, but if they all, it's kind of one of those strength in numbers things. If a bunch of them said, "Hey, you know what? We should all just say something at the same time." What are they going to do? Fire us all? What are they going to do? Disappear us all?
But children being sold like a commodity is not one of them. Ask yourself, why is that? So, in all seriousness.
Anyways, it is a good point. If you care about injustice, or if you care about people being harmed or people being abused, you gotta have more people talking about it. I think, and then you gotta get more people talking about it, and you gotta get more people who haven't been harassed into, when they start talking about it. But I don't know. Everybody's crazy, right? Everybody who talks about it brings it up is like wild. But if you can talk about it and be like, calm, cool, rational, and not come off like, oh, they're doing the things. Watch out, right? You don't want to come off like that, right? Because it's really easy to go, that guy's crazy. Don't listen to him. He's crazy. Right? You got to be able to say like, yes, these things are happening. Here's the proof we have. Here's all the thing. Right. All right. Ola Donkey. Well, was he? I think it's actually pretty. Okay, so anyways, let's get into a little bit about that, and we'll see. I don't know. Might have to jump off into Rockfin pretty soon because I feel like, who knows? I don't know. I don't know about this, where this conversation is going to go. Revolutionary Blackout Network. While white people pretend there was woke mob coming for your free speech rights, well, they kind of are. It's actually Zionism that is the biggest threat to freedom of speech. Well, that's kind of true too. They use all the angles, so I think it's not either or. Revolutionary Blackout Network. It's and. White America happily sold everyone's free speech out in order to appease Israel. Yeah. Well, so there was back in the day, there was this thing, the conspiracy about Obama being part of the Muslim Brotherhood and like, oh my God. Or, there was also the conspiracy about like selling, your leader, your government selling yourself, the country out to China. Which actually all of that could be true too, right? But like it seems like the obvious answer to the question of like somebody else has total control of your country, and who could it be? I wonder who could be. And it seems pretty obvious now in these days and times that there is another country that has total and complete control of everything that's going on in this country, and everybody's like, huh. I wonder what we should do about that. Right? The reason Hamas was immediately banned on Twitter is not because they're extreme or terrorists. It's because Elon and establishment knows if Hamas has an equal chance to share their side, that it would be impossible to control the narrative about them. It's another interesting thing too, that there seems to be a lot more being allowed kind of to be said, some levels on Twitter, but then there is a lot of banning. So they banned Hamas's X account. This is a tough call, says Elon. I don't know. I really thought hard about this. But there was a big purge of leftists, and that's kind of going back to this. A bunch of accounts were suspended last night. I believe that probably people that were speaking out against the Gazan. Well, yeah, I don't know, Gene. I'm not really sure, because it's it's actually provable that. Let's go back to the Me Too movement. That sure, credible. That's a credible platform. Trying to speak up about abuse and draw attention to it and say like this shouldn't happen is perfectly fine. But when you're using that as a weaponized method of silencing people, right, or going after people, and it's very selective, right? Like we can go after these people, but we can't go after Joe Biden. We can go after these people, but we can't go after Bill Clinton. We can go, right? Then it's selective, and it's just not. And if you come out against those people and say something about them, then you're, shut up. Right? Oh, those accusations are totally false. But when it's against the person that you want to bring down, then you're, oh yeah, I always knew it. This guy is such an asshole, right? So it's weaponized, and it's weaponized in all directions, right? Whether it's calling somebody racist or a fascist or a Nazi or a abuser or a misogynist, or it's like weaponized. So yeah, it's all over the place. Anyways. Yeah, something's in the water. Calling something a conspiracy theory is just an easy way out of actually doing a little more homework. But people just believe the first thing that's handed to them. Well, I actually think calling somebody a conspiracy theorist right now in this day and time just shows me that you're either have no position whatsoever, you have no facts on your side, you have no position, and what you're trying, calling something a conspiracy at this moment is like just adding more validation to the thing that you're calling a conspiracy, right? If it's a conspiracy, it's probably true at this point, or has much more evidence and facts behind it than whatever it is that you're trying to talk about. So I don't know that is even helpful to call something a conspiracy at this point, because it just makes you sound weak. It immediately makes your position the weakest position. It's just a conspiracy theorist. Oh, really? Okay. Well, thanks for that. So it's just not. I don't think it helps anybody's case to call people that. So whatever. But it seems like, why is the governor of Florida flying to a foreign nation to sign anti-free speech laws? This was, years ago, right? A year or two ago. Was Ron DeSantis elected to serve Israel or Florida? Why doesn't he pass laws making it illegal to say bad things about other races too? Right. But we stand with you. Every politician, everybody, we stand with Israel. Oh. Oh. Well, you must be like super patriotic then, and all for Americans, all for, the right of America to do whatever America wants to, or all for Americans to say what they want to say, free speech and all that kind of stuff. It's wild. Did you guys, and to add just another layer of weirdness to all of this, the discovery of tunnels underground in Brooklyn Temple. Did you guys see about this? Did you all hear about this? Or see it? Currently, numerous law enforcement are at the scene of a riot at the Cicada headquarters in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, where individuals tore wooden panels to prevent a cement truck from sealing off the recently discovered tunnels. So there's like tunnels. Or who was it? I was listening to AM Wake Up earlier. I think Steve said something about the accusation is an admission, right? These days, whatever you're accusing somebody of is the admission that you are doing the thing, right? So, and right, Hamas has tunnels. Oh no, well we have tunnels too. We're doing the tunnels. Where individuals tore wooden panels, police intervened by ripping wooden panels to thwart the cement truck's actions. So the police were preventing them from cementing in these tunnels. What's going on with all these tunnels underground in Brooklyn? The underground tunnel secretly built by a group, including members of the Jewish community, just a group. About 6 months ago, in an attempt to expand the iconic synagogue, were the focal point. Really? Despite police intervention, numerous people refused to vacate the tunnels, leading to the arrest of at least 10 individuals after a scuffle with the NYPD inside 770. What? This is a kind of a nutso story. And people are trying to figure out, like, what, some people were saying that they had maybe Israeli immigrants living in the tunnels. Other people were talking about it might be used for human trafficking, of course, which actually isn't, really far afield, that idea. Oh, this is the wrong post. I mean, there are all kinds of things underground that I'm sure that we're not aware of, used by official entities or non-official entities, right? Again, going back to a few years ago, the idea that there were, like, the military had massive underground tunnel systems all over and I'm sure they do, right? Tunnels. It's all happening underground, people. Chaos. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. Chaos breaks out in New York City after underground tunnels were discovered in the Chabad Lubavitch World Headquarters in Brooklyn. The incident below reportedly took place to prevent a cement truck from filling the tunnels. Here, let's... There's like the police are trying to keep people back from the tunnels. There's like a riot going on. Or an insurrection, whatever you want. Yeah, I need a tunnel before tornado season. Right, everybody's building their apocalypse bunkers, right? Even the Jews in New York, the Chabad, Lubavitch, they need
Which is okay. But there's going to be a lot of
It's not going to help. They try to.
But what are they doing in the tunnels? What's going on in the tunnels? Apparently it reached from, there's like a men's section of this synagogue and a women's section. Apparently it reached from the men's section to the women's section. This is what I heard. Oh, you sent me, okay. Hold on, let's see. In my DMs. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Hello, show me the new message, please. Why not? Okay. Breaking news. Okay, let's look at this. Ooh. Oh. Wow. Okay. Let's put this up. Thanks, man. Thanks, Extra Bullet. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is kind of like a breaking story. I kind of saw it last night right before I went to bed. Ringleader and coordinator of the Jewish underground tunnel, Samuel Heidberg, has turned himself in on charges of child trafficking and kidnapping. That guy. Wow. Okay. Oh, and the chats are getting spicy, right? Oh, Israelis are doing child trafficking? Whoa. You don't say. Well, that's a pretty wild story. No, he's not. I don't know if he's Israeli. He's Jewish. Is he a Zionist or just a regular Jew? I don't know. Extra bulla. First there were giant aliens in Miami, now sewer Jews. Only 9 days in, folks. Right. The Israelis built some of the tunnels and go, oh, I'm sure that they did. I'm sure they did. Anyways, wild stories. All right, so we're going to end with a little video about cicadas, all right? Because we're at the end. But this is also making 2024. But does he condemn Hamas? Exactly. This is a... Sure. He was child trafficking in the underground tunnels. Let's learn something about cicadas. And 2024 is turning out to be a big year for cicadas.
Underground. So there's this bug. It's called the cicada. It's like
and maybe it means something
quite
for us.
pretty wings. That's irrelevant. I'll just show you a picture. So a cicada is found in North America. It's got a really long lifespan. There's one type that lives for 13 years and another one that lives for 17 years. And it spends almost all of that time underground. But the thing is, for extra drama, all of these cicadas are completely synchronized with one another. So every single 13-year-old cicada emerges from the ground simultaneously, flies around, has a massive party, sheds their exoskeletons, makes a massive mess, and then dies. See, they do this because it helps to evade predators. There's so many of them simultaneously, there's no way the predators could eat all of them, and so a massive proportion of them survive to the next generation. And 13 years and 17 years are special because they're both prime numbers, which means it's really hard for a predator to have a cycle that syncs up with them. Also, they almost never synchronize with each other. 13 and 17 are kind of missing each other. Apart from every 221 years, 13 times 17, when they'll all appear simultaneously. And the last time that this happened was in 1803, when Thomas Jefferson was president and Napoleon was thinking about invading England. And that means that if for 2024 you had the simultaneous explosion of green teenage bugs all across North America on your bingo card, you are in for a treat.
That's it. 2024 is the year of the cicada. All of the cicadas are coming out this year. And I guess that means either something really great and magical, and there'll be, peace in the land, or something else, or something not good. Anyways, I think that about wraps it up for me. I hope that was not too incredibly all over the place. I will see you all tomorrow at 9 a.m. at the regular time of 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight. And thanks for hanging out. Until next time, peace.